That's the big fight. I think both Biden and Trump are fighting over those supporters. And Trump has gone out of his way to talk about how the voting for Nikki Haley was sort of a betrayal of him. In some ways, he even said he didn't want her voters at times. But I think now it's pretty clear that he does want those voters. But at the same time, Biden has said as well that there is room in his campaign for voters. He said that even if they do not get along on all sorts of policies, that a vote for him and a vote against Donald Trump is about an issue bigger than just politics. It's about from the Biden perspective, democracy more broadly.
Now, we know that Nikki Haley hasn't thrown her support behind Donald Trump, but what about the possibility of Nikki Haley running on the same ticket as Donald Trump as his potential vice presidential candidate if he gets confirmed as a Republican nominee for president?
Yeah, I think politically that makes a lot of sense. If you look at what she brings to the ticket, it's a no-brainer from my perspective, right? So she is a moderate Republican. She is a woman, and she can get all sorts of suburban voters who Trump did not do well in. So that's suburban voters, female voters, and moderate voters. He did not do well in 2020 with those sorts of voters, and I think if he wants to expand his voters in 2024, he needs to reach those sorts of demographics, and she would help him do that. But given the way that she spoke about him at her concession speech, it doesn't look likely that she would be joining his ticket, especially given what she has said about him just a few days ago in terms of his being. Basically, she was saying he was incapable of being president. He didn't have the mental acuity to be president. So as much as it makes political sense, it's not clear to me that someone who Trump has called bird brain over and over again is willing to join him as the number two.
Well, Donald Trump is facing more than 90 separate criminal charges, I understand. What are the chances that his White House bid could be scuppered?
Well, it depends what you mean by scuppered. I mean, if it means that he's going to be at less campaign appearances, then yeah, he has so many different court cases right now, basically four significant ones, that it's all but inevitable when you look at the electoral calendar facing the next 8 months that they're going to be interrupted by those court cases. But the question is, does that hurt him? I think it does probably hurt him with independent voters, but at the same time, the more that he is engaged with the legal system, the more that he is fighting the legal system, in many ways, the more that emboldens his base. And the big gamble in this election, similar to 2020, is can he embolden that base enough to get them to turn out in greater numbers than the Never Trump or the anti-Trump coalition in 2024? And that's something that's really too early to tell at this point.
Jared, if Joe Biden and Donald Trump are indeed confirmed as their party's presidential nominee, it'll be a rematch of the 2020 vote. How will it be different, apart from them both being 4 years older?
I think that your last point is probably arguably the most important one. The fact that they are 4 years older and that they've both stayed in the limelight for 4 years since then. One as president, the other as a very active former president. A majority of Americans do not want them to be leading the ticket, but for different reasons, they are both leading their respective parties' tickets. You have the Republicans who privately, the Republican elites are not very supportive of Donald Trump. He doesn't have very many major donors left. That's one of the reasons Nikki Haley stayed in so late, is because she had so many major Republican donors who were looking for anyone but Trump. And then Biden, I think it's not that people came in droves to take him on and want to take him on like Trump. It's that a lot of Democrats who are looking at their 2028 prospects are thinking, I don't want to be the politician who weakens Joe Biden against Donald Trump. It's important to note that as much as Donald Trump galvanizes his base, and he's galvanized them in 2020, in 2016, and he's hoping to do the same thing in 2024, he also galvanizes the anti-Trump base as well. And that base is in many ways far more diverse than Trump's own base. So in terms of what changes from 2020 and 2016, I don't think that we're seeing major changes. The topics are and the campaign issues are very different than they were 4 and 8 years ago, but the men are very much the same. They are not men who change or have changed in their many decades in the limelight. And so I expect them to be the same people ahead of November's election.
Well, Joe Biden's State of the Union address on Thursday evening, US time, how significant will it be? Could it be a pivotal moment? How important is it for him?
Oh, this is hugely important for him. This, as much as the campaign has officially launched and he has basically clenched his Democratic Party's nomination, this is primetime viewership and a primetime opportunity for Joe Biden to show that he is maybe old, but still very active, with it, witty, in command of not only the issues of his speech and delivering his speech, but also the impromptu opportunities that come up from his speech. One thing that's fun about the State of the Union, for those who enjoy the entertainment of it, is a way that it's not just someone reading off a teleprompter. There's a lot of politicians in the room that he'll be delivering a speech in Congress, who often will say things or will chant things. And sometimes that's in support of him, and sometimes it's very much not in support of him. The most viral moments of the prior State of the Union addresses that we've seen for the past few presidents have been when there's been a surprise, non-scripted moment, whether it be a Republican yelling, "You lie," to Barack Obama, or Biden making some witty quips to Republicans when he's delivering his speech. I think this is an opportunity, a rare opportunity for Joe Biden to take the headlines and to show how he might not be young, but he's still energetic.
And speaking of who else will be in the room, the White House also typically invites special guests to attend the address. Who will be in attendance this year?
They try to keep that a secret as much as can. They might announce a few names here and there. Usually those are the opportunities for the White House to get a viral moment, because as a president, you get seen by cameras all the time, and the political staffers know this, and so they think, all right, let's invite someone that will make for a viral moment, that will cut through the normal talking points that you see from State of the Union coverage and say, oh, look at this interesting individual who perhaps has overcome a lot or represents a really important demographic that Biden is trying to reach. I think the one thing that I'm looking forward to myself in terms of the unknowns and the broader implications beyond just the Union is the rebuttal, which is expected to be delivered by Katie Britt, who's a Republican member of Congress and will likely it is on the short list for Trump's VP candidates. And that is perhaps one of the largest unknowns about the 2024 election right now, is who does Trump get for his number 2 position? He doesn't need the evangelical vote. He doesn't need, in the same way that he did in 2016, which is one of the reasons he got Mike Pence. He also doesn't need the evangelical vote, which is, again, one of the reasons he got Mike Pence in 2016. He needs women, he needs moderates, he needs the suburban voters. And so he's hoping, I think, Donald Trump, that is, that Katie Britt can potentially deliver that for him. But he's also looking at a number of other options ahead of the election.
We'll be watching closely. Jared Mondschein, thanks so much for joining us tonight.
My pleasure.